All right, what's up, guys and girls? How's it going? It's Els here. Sorry for my longer absence than normal. I haven't been playing a whole lot. I can post a couple clips showing why, but PvP hasn't been very good lately. You know, my character goes invisible, other people's characters go invisible, and there's lag outs, a bunch of other stuff. And when you play in all Divines Magicka DK and all Divines Magicka Sorc, you know, if you have a split second where your shields go down, it makes for not a very fun time. And other builds, it's basically the exact same way when you're fighting outnumbered. So I'm not here to bitch about it. You know, it's just the way it is. They're getting it fixed, you know, when they can. But, you know, it's not worth going through the frustration of lag if, you know, I don't have to. So I'm waiting until the fix comes out, and then I'm going to start posting more builds. But until then, I'll probably be sticking to PvE stuff for a little bit, and, you know, getting ready for this new DLC that's coming out, the Wolfhunter. So these patch notes were just dropped a little bit ago. I'm going to read through them. I haven't read them yet. We'll see if there's anything good as it pertains to PvP or whatever. So let's dive into it. All right. Welcome to Elder Scrolls Online 4.1.0 Wolfhunter DLC Game Pack. 2 new 4-player dungeons, which is pretty cool. Table of contents, Wolfhunter, base game, known issues, Somerset. 2 new dungeons, Moonhunter Keep, March of Sacrifices, new collectible and furnishings. All right, new item sets. There are 8 new item sets available from 2 new dungeons. March of Sacrifices and Moonhunter Keep. Each dungeon has 1 light armor, 1 medium armor, 1 heavy armor, and 1 monster mass item set to acquire. Moonhunter Keep, the light armor set. 2-piece spell damage, 3-piece spell damage, 4-piece spell crit. Wow. 5. When your alchemical poison fires, increase your spell damage by 600 for 6 seconds. Holy shit. Holy shit. Wow. That's really good. So it's a 10-second cooldown on potions. 10-second cooldown on potions. If I remember correctly, you can wear a set like the Assassin's Guile that increases the duration to 10 seconds. So you could potentially run something like this with Guile, and you could have 600 weapon damage all of the time. I'm not saying that's the way to go, but this has some very exciting implications. This is, you know, this is more spell damage than Burning Spellweave. Burning Spellweave is like 512. This is more spell damage as a 5-piece set than any set in the game, as far as fully maxed out. So pretty damn cool. And plus it works off of poisons, so you can work this pretty well into a rotation. So Inferno Staff with poisons on the front bar, you know, Resto Staff with spell damage enchant on the back bar. This will be definitely making it on a few of my builds, so the way it currently is. Sorry, that's just an awesome set. That is an awesome set. Savage Werewolf, medium. Max stamina, weapon damage, stamina recovery. It's 2, 3, and 4 is solid. 5. Your light and heavy attacks rend flesh, causing your enemy to bleed for 1,000 physical damage every 2 seconds for 6 seconds. Okay. I'd want to see how this scales. I'm not saying this is bad. Like 2, 3, and 4 piece is solid. It seems a little low, but maybe when, you know, it's fully CP'd out, like it's actually decent. I'm not exactly sure. I will have to test this, but this is an interesting idea. Jailer's Tenacity, 2% healing taken, 3% max health, 4% healing taken. 5. When you lose 25% or more of your health from a single attack, you gain major vitality for 6 seconds, increasing your healing received by 30%. Interesting. Alright, so I know this is going to be a popular tank set, like PvP set for being tanky. You know, a lot of people combat bursty builds by equipping a lot of health. Just wanted to get this out there right away. If you run this type of set won't work well with high health builds. Because I mean, just in theory, if you have 40k health and you lose, in order to lose 25% of your health, that's 10k from a single attack. So in order for this to actually work, it would be better suited on like a 25k, 25k or 22k heavy armor build, because then it's only like 6k, and then you get major vitality for 6 seconds. So if you guys are going to try this set, in theory, just going looking at it off the top of my head right now, don't use it as for a high health tank, because it's not going to work for you for too often. You know, you'll have to actually have a lower health pool in order to take advantage of this healing, which honestly, major vitality, healing received by 30% is pretty cool. So yeah, plus I mean, for, I don't know, plus with your tank, if you're holding block, like, are you ever really going to lose that much health in a single attack? I don't know. So it's an interesting set, but I don't know how applicable it's going to be. Vycosa, Monster Mask, 1% healing taken. 2, when you taunt an enemy, you frighten them with a deafening howl, applying major maim to them for 3 seconds, lowering their damage done by 30%. This effect can occur once every 15 seconds. Seems like too long of a cooldown. I mean, that major maim is nice. Like 30% damage reduction is very cool. So taunts would be, so you'd use this with ransack builds and you'd use this with frost staff builds. But I don't know if 3 seconds out of 15 makes it worth it. I think that's too long of a cooldown to actually make this valuable, but who knows? All right, March of Sacrifices. Hanu's Compassion, Light Armor, Magica Recovery, Max Magica, Magic Recovery, Max Magica. Oh, this is a cool set too. 5. When you resurrect another player while in combat, you and the player gain major heroism for 15 seconds, granting you 3 ultimate every 1.5 seconds. Oh, man. Okay. So that's 30 ultimate. So it would be 1.5 seconds for 15 seconds. So 3 ultimate. Yeah, so that's 30 ultimate that you gain. That's a lot. I see a lot of Magica Templars abusing this with Kagernak's Hope. So you run Kags, you run this, you pick somebody up. You pick somebody up quickly. You gain major heroism. You pop your healing ult. That's pretty strong. Wow. I mean, it doesn't even have to be Templars. I mean, Wardens could use this too. Like, you know, you put up your shield, you get major heroism. Your shield goes down, you get major heroism. You know, this might need to be adjusted. Just from looking at it, I think this could be abused in a few different builds, so we'll have to see how that goes. Blood Moon, medium, weapon damage, weapon crit, okay. When you deal critical damage with a melee light attack, you gain a stack of blood scent for 8 seconds. When you gain 5 stacks, you become frenzied for 5 seconds, increasing your melee light attack damage by 50% and attack speed by 50%. Wow. Okay, so the 2, 3, and 4 damage, that's pretty cool. 5 stacks, melee light attack damage by 50%. So the melee light attack damage by 50% is nice. But the attack speed by 50% is what kind of makes it. Like, it's, you're going to hit twice as fast and you're going to hit, you're going to hit twice as fast and you have 50% more damage. So in theory, your light attacks will hit, the amount of light attacks you'll be able to get off in this amount of time will hit twice as hard because it's 50% more, but you're hitting twice as fast. So that's kind of cool. It's a long cooldown, but you know, you have to stack 5. So 5 stacks, I mean, basically once you stack it again, you'll kind of be there. So This looks like a werewolf set. So, I mean, anybody can use it, but this seems like it's a werewolf set. So, interesting. Haven of Ursus, max health, healing taken, max health. When you take damage while you're under 50% health, summon Ursus's spirit for 6 seconds. You or an ally can activate a synergy on Ursus to grant you a shield that protects you and the activator from 13,954 damage for 6 seconds. This effect can occur once every 12 seconds. Okay. That might be interesting. It depends on how this scales, but that's an interesting set. Monster Mask, Balorg. Weapon damage and spell damage. Oh, there it is. There it is. Been waiting for the spell damage bonus one outside of Kina, so came out with it. When you use an ultimate ability, you gain weapon and spell damage for 10 seconds, equal to twice the amount of the total ultimates consumed. Ooh. Wow. So, this is kind of interesting, and it kind of works, I think it kind of works against some classes. So what it's saying is when you use an ultimate, if I'm reading this correctly, and I could be wrong, but like let's say you're on a Nightblade and you use Incap, right? Incap is 50 ultimate, so you gain 100 spell damage for 10 seconds if you wear this set. So that's actually pretty interesting for a damage set. And it's for 10 seconds, so it's a pretty long amount of time. The kind of cool part about this is if you're using an ultimate like Meteor, Meteor has a cast time. So can you get that bonus on dropping Meteor? So, you know, let's say Meteor's 200 ultimate. Do you gain 400 spell damage when you drop it? And then when it hits, you get 400 spell damage with the ultimate? Because that'd be pretty cool. It's very interesting. It makes for some bursty builds, obviously. Does this counteract what Sorks have? Because Sorks have reduced ultimate cost. And so because you get an ultimate at 185 instead of 200, does that mean you only get 360? Or is it what the base ultimate is? Equal to twice the amount of total ultimate consumed. Okay. So what if you're... Sorry. I'm guessing how it's going to work is it's going to be based off of what the ultimate that you use is going to be. So it'll benefit people that use the longer ultimates. Because currently, like a lot of people are using the cheaper ultimates. The Dawnbreaker, the Soul Assault, the Dragon Leap, the Incap. Because they're cheaper, you can get to them more quickly. This opens up Nova. I'm not saying people are going to use Nova, but I'm just saying that those bigger, more expensive ultimates, now all of a sudden you have added value to using it. You know, maybe Dragonets are going to use Shifting Standard a little bit more because now they gain, 500 spell damage off of it, you know? The only question I have is I'm pretty sure it's this way, but I'm pretty sure it's only going to work off the ultimate. But what if you build 500 ultimate and then you use an ultimate and it consumes all 500? So does that mean you have 1,000? I'm guessing it's not that way, but that would be a bug that I guess I would check out, that I'm going to check out when I get on PTS. So very, very interesting set. This is pretty cool. So in general, I think the Magicka sets, they hit out of the park. I think they look really good. Medium sets are heavy sets, not. I don't think the heavy sets are very useful, but who knows. Battleground outfit styles, new PvP collectible. Respec system updates. We've updated player ability respec system, so activating respec mode no longer clears all of your points, but instead allows you to add and remove points from your abilities. You still have the option to remove all points if you want a fresh start, though. We've also retained the morph only option for a reduced price. You can add and subtract any ability morphs. This is an awesome change. So instead of respecing everything, it's only what you choose. So if all of a sudden you accidentally changed concealed weapon to surprise attack and you want to go back, you only have to change the one. You don't have to go through everything. So very nice. Anyone who loses a skill tree such as Vampire or Werewolf will now have all skill points in the associated tree refunded. Cool. Anyone who previously removed one of these skill trees will have their additional skill points returned upon login. Okay. All these changes will apply to rededication shrines and skill respecification scrolls from the Crown Store. Okay. We've got a new motif. Different way to obtain a motif. These are pretty long patch notes, so I'm just going to scroll through. 2 new homes to test during PTS cycle. All right. Champion point increase. 30 points, so 780 CP will be the new max. Alliance War, Capture, Keep, and Scroll bonus are not currently applying properly. Okay. Character templates. The Savage Werewolf item set box currently contains the Blood Moon set item. This box will have the Blood Moon item set with a future PTS patch. The Blood Moon jewelry box is incorrectly labeled as containing Plague Slinger jewelry, despite actually containing Blood Moon jewelry. This box name will be corrected with an upcoming PTS update. Combat and gameplay, copied characters. All right. Combat and gameplay. General, Imperial City Prison. Brace for impact ability now. Okay. General, art and animation. Making things prettier. Exploration and itemization. Housing. Quest zones. Who doesn't like some quests? UI, combat and abilities. All right. We've made numerous ability changes with this latest update, some with global implications, while others are specific tweaks and quality of life changes. Some of our major goals with these changes include improving the werewolf gameplay and quality of life. Several abilities received significant adjustments. Sorry, my cat wants to say hi, so I'll quiet him up here a little bit. Reducing the duration of snare and defile effects. Abilities and item sets that apply snares or defile debuffs on enemies have had their duration significantly reduced. Since most of the changes were made to damage over time abilities, you will have to recast those abilities earlier to keep an enemy permanently snared, which sacrifices some damage. Okay. Yeah, hi. Improving the werewolf gameplay. Okay. Abilities and item sets that apply snares or defile debuffs on enemies have had their duration significantly reduced. Yep. Most area of effect snaring abilities were untouched, although since the counterplay is just to move out of the area of effect. Increasing the viability of some older item sets, a few item sets have received some dramatic redesigns while others were simply buffed to improve their usage. So yeah, so in my opinion, the biggest issue with playing with Werewolf is dealing with snares. You know, you get locked in talons, you get locked in a trap beast, you know, you hit mines, you can't really, it's hard, you can't break out of it, you're just stuck. I remember I was playing with one of my buddies and we were both on Magic and Nightblades and this guy went werewolf on us and we just split up and we cripple spammed him and it was really funny. Like we didn't really do anything else, we just sat there and cripple spammed him and made sure he couldn't move. Not the best way, not the nicest thing to do, but that's just what werewolf is. If you have a type of snare like that, you can just negate werewolves. And, you know, they can't dodge roll, so they're just stuck. That's why I don't like it. And I think this could be a good change. Maybe it's good enough to, you know, make werewolf a little bit more viable. It's kind of an interesting play style. It's very expensive. Werewolf with that new skill, the new monster set, would actually be pretty cool. 500 ultimate for 10 seconds, or 500 weapon damage for 10 seconds. That'd be pretty gross. So, pretty interesting. All right, general. Increase the movement speed of all monsters summoned from your abilities and item sets by 25%. Monsters now have 50% total movement speed bonus. They can keep pace with you when you are using sprint or have major expedition, but stacking movement speed bonuses will allow you to outrun them. Okay. Visual effects will now appear over your character's head when using detection potions, mage light, or expert hunter to notify their players of your ability to see sneaking invisible enemies. Very cool. Decrease the range of two-handed dual-wield one-hand shield unarmed and werewolf heavy attacks to 7 meters from 10 meters. Good. The range for melee heavy attacks now matches other melee cast time and channel abilities such as uppercut and flurry. Good. Fix an issue where casting certain self-target abilities such as spike armor, dark exchange, and imbue weapon would remove you from sneak. Okay. Ardent Flame, World in Ruin. This ability now also increases the damage over time component of Fiery Breath and its morphs. Warmth. This ability now only snares targets when you deal direct damage with an Ardent Flame ability. Was any type of damage. Decrease the duration of the snare to 3 seconds for all ranks. Alright. Reflective Scale. Reflective Plate. This ability now also grants 2 seconds immunity to snare and immobilization effects. Okay. Nightblade. Deathstroke. Incapacitating Strike. This ability now only stuns your enemy if your current health percentage is lower than the target's. Grim Focus. Merciless Resolve. Remove the snare from this ability. Good change. Did not need the snare. Shadow. Aspect of Terror. Decrease the duration of the snare from this ability and its morphs to 2 seconds from 4 seconds. Good change. Shadow Cloak, Dark Cloak. Fix an issue where the casting this ability was removing you from sneak. Alright. Siphoning Crippled. Decrease the duration of the snare and major expedition buff from this ability and its morphs to 4 seconds from 8 seconds. Alright. No more cripple spam, I guess. Dark Magic, Rune Prison. Decrease the damage done from this ability by approximately 20%. Good. Storm Calling, Mage's Fury. Fix an issue where dodging this ability and its morphs would still apply the Execute Explosion debuff to you. Yep. Overload. Fix an issue where the heavy attack from this ability and its morphs could not proc weapon enchantments or poisons. Okay, so it's supposed to hit harder. Cool. Dawn's Wrath. Radiant Destruction. Increase the maximum bonus execute damage dealt by this ability and its morph to 400% from 330. Okay. I think that's fine. Increasing the execute damage when it scales like that I think is okay. It's just the upfront. Dark Flare Morph. Decrease the duration of the Major Defiled debuff from 4 seconds from 6 seconds. Solar Barrage. Move the cast time from this ability and decrease the damage done by approximately 40%. Alright. Sunfire. Decrease the duration of the snare from this ability and its morphs to 3 seconds from 5 to 9 seconds. Wow. That's a big snare reduction. Cool. Restoring Light. Healing Ritual. Ritual Rebirth. Fix an issue where you could dodge the secondary heal from this ability. Okay. Rune Focus. This ability and its morphs now apply Major Ward, Major Resolve, and all morphs effects to you directly for 15 seconds. Wow. Wow. That is a big change. So instead of 6, it's 15. Standing within the area effect now increase the Major Ward and Major Resolve effects by 50%. Wow. Increase the cost of this ability and restoring focus to 2,700 magicka from 1890. Okay, well, you're not casting as much now since you have the longer buff time, so that's nice. Channel focus, increase the cost of ability. Okay. The new design of Rune Focus more closely matches its fast action combat while still preserving the original feel of an area of protection. Those are interesting changes for sure. It's going to make dueling Templars a little bit of a pain in the ass, but open world, I think this makes a lot of sense. Because you have to cast that rune so many times. Like you're kiting, and you're dropping runes, and all of a sudden, you know, if it's a 2-minute fight, you're out of magicka. So I kind of like it. Yeah, pretty cool. Warden, Cliff Racer, Screaming Cliff Racer Morph. Fix an issue where the casting this ability will not orient your character to face the target. Okay. Green Balance, Lotus Flower. Fix an issue where this ability and its morphs did not work with the light and heavy attacks from the Mend Wounds ability. Winter's Embrace, Arctic Wind. Increase the initial heal from this ability and its morphs to 15% of your max health from 12. Okay. One-Handed Shield, Power Bash, Reverberating Bash. Decrease the duration of the Major Defile debuff to 4 seconds from 10 seconds. Wow. Very cool. Dual Wield. So, big Major Defile debuff here. Hopefully, we keep going down that path for the rest of these patch notes. Dual Wield. Lacerate. Fix an issue where this ability and its morphs could sometimes heal you based on damage dealt from other abilities happening at the same time. Twin Slashes. Rending Slashes Morph. Decrease the duration of the snare to 4 seconds from 9 seconds. Bow, Arrow Spray. Decrease the duration of the snare applied for this ability and its morphs to 4 seconds from 6 seconds. Scattershot. Fix an issue where using the roll dodge immediately after casting this ability or its morphs would prevent the enemy from gaining crowd control immunity after you knock them back. Snipe. Decrease the duration of the Major Defile debuff applied to 4 seconds from 10 seconds. Excellent. So we're nerfing Major Defile. Excellent. World Vampire. Curing Vampirism will now refund all skill points that are invested in the skill line. Cool. Drain Essence, fix an issue where this ability and its morphs would fail to cast if you use it against a crowd control immune enemy while you are blocking. Okay. Werewolf. Werewolf changes. There were a significant number of changes made to Werewolf this update. Some of these changes were made to improve the quality of life with leveling and maintaining the form, while others open up new gameplay possibilities. First, you'll find leveling and maintaining your Werewolf is now considerably easier. The Devour passive is now granted automatically from the very start, so you can sustain form better at lower levels before you've unlocked all the other skills. We've also significantly reduced the experience requirements to morph all skills. Second, you'll be able to do more core combat actions as a werewolf, such as resurrecting your allies or using synergies. Werewolves will have a much easier time engaging in group content now that they help their friends more effectively. This, occupied with some other changes such as Blood Rage passive triggering on damage dealt instead of damage taken, means they can be more viable in group PvE activities such as dungeons. Finally, many morphs and abilities were changed to improve the cohesiveness of the werewolf kit. Some combos and effects that weren't very effective have been removed, while others were tweaked to better support the fast and ferocious playstyle of the werewolf. As an example, we removed the stuns from Pounce and Piercing Howl, but dramatically improved Roar by making it instacast, fear more targets, and have more competitive morph effects. Alright, let's dive into Werewolf. Werewolf transformation. You can now resurrect other players while transformed. Big change. You can now use synergy abilities while transformed. You will use a unique werewolf-themed animation instead of the synergy's usual animation. You can now use siege weapons while transformed. Okay? Your werewolf timer will no longer tick down while you're reviving in place while transformed. Updated the tooltip of this ability and its morphs to better describe all the additional effects of transforming. This ability and its morphs no longer increase your movement speed or your spell and physical resistance as a baseline effect. These bonuses have been moved to passive abilities in the skill line. These bonuses were moved to passive abilities to help reinforce the feeling of progression you get from leveling the werewolf skill line. It also allows for extra space to add more information to the werewolf transformation tooltip about all the other bonuses you have while transformed, such as your max stamina being increased or your heavy attacks dealing splash damage. Pack Leader Morph. Direwolves now scale with the bonuses from damage done. Cool. Direwolves now randomly alternate between 2 direct damage abilities, previously 4, and they no longer use a non-damaging snare ability. Fixed an issue where the direwolves would throttle their attacks against the same target. They now attack much more rapidly. Okay. Fix an issue where the direwolves will not respawn with you whenever you respawn. Okay. Blood Rage. This ability now increases the timer of your werewolf transformation when you deal damage, rather than when you take damage. It adds 2 to 4 seconds to your timer with a 5-second cooldown. Devour. This is now the first passive you unlock in the skill line and is a free passive that does not require you to spend a skill point. Points are already spent into this will automatically be refunded. The Devour Corpse ability is now a 4-second channel instead of a 4-second cast time. Every second you spend devouring a corpse increases your werewolf timer and restores health. Each corpse can be devoured for up to 4 seconds. Updated the visual effects on enemy corpses that can be devoured. Improved the targeting and reliability for devouring corpses. Hircine's Bounty. This ability and its morphs now heal based on your max health. And Hircine's Bounty and Hircine's Rage heal you for 45% of your max health, while Hircine's Fortitude heals you for 60% of your max health. Hircine's Rage morph. This morph now grants Major Brutality for 20 seconds. Okay. Infectious Claws. Updated the visual effects for this ability and its morphs. Piercing Howl. This ability and its morphs no longer stun the target. Decrease the cost of this ability and its morphs to 3510 stamina from 4050. Updated the visual effects for this ability and its morphs. Howl of Despair morph. The synergy now grants the ally empower for all light attacks for 5 seconds. Previously, it granted 10% more light and heavy attack damage for 15 seconds. So you get him. So yeah, I already see there being a werewolf light attack build with these new medium armor sets. You know, the one that gives you weapon damage for it, and then the other one that buffs your light attacks. That could already be a thing. It looks pretty interesting. Pounce. This ability and its morphs no longer stun the enemy if they were already set off balance. Pursuit. This ability now also increases your movement speed by 15 to 30%. This bonus was moved from a baseline effect of werewolf transformation to this passive. Roar. This ability and its morphs are now instant cast, previously 1 second. This ability and its morphs can now fear up to 6 targets. Cool. This ability and the rousing roar morph no longer set enemies off balance. Ferocious Roar. This morph now sets feared targets off balance. Cool. Rousing Roar. This morph has been renamed to Deafening Roar and now applies Major Fracture for 10 seconds to feared targets. Wow, very cool. Savage Strength. This ability now increases your spell and physical resistance by 5,000/10,000. This bonus was moved from a baseline effect of Werewolf transformation to this passive. Okay. All Werewolf abilities now require less experience to morph. You already said that. Curing Lycanthropy will now refund all skill points. Cool. Fixed an issue where casting another ability while in the middle of a Werewolf heavy attack would cancel the heavy attack instead of queuing the ability to cast when heavy attack completed. Okay. Alright, so the big theme for this is they're decreasing the snares, which is good. They're decreasing heal debuffs, which is good. They're making Werewolf more viable, which is good. All good so far. Silver Leash. Fix an issue where this ability was not counting as a fighter ability for the Slayer passive. Okay. They also decreased the duration of the snare to 4 seconds from 6 seconds. Sigic Order. Imbue Weapon. Fix an issue where this ability and its morphs were removing you from sneak when cast. Fix an issue where this ability and its morphs were not playing their visual effects or audio if you were unarmed. Crushing Weapon. Fix an issue where this would heal based on the damage done from the light attack and not the damage done by Crushing Weapon itself. Alright. Mend Wounds. Weapon swapping to an ability bar that does not have this ability or its morph slot will now toggle the ability off. Alright. Undaunted. Trapping Webs. Shadow Silk Morph. Fix an issue where the Black Widow spiders were using a poison damage over time effect that was being mitigated by the target spell resistance instead of their physical resistance. Okay. Champion System. Tactician. Fix an issue where this passive was setting enemies off balance when you dodge their attack with dodge bonuses such as major minor evasion instead of only from roll dodge. Okay. Unchained. Fix an issue where this passive was not functioning when you use break free while transformed into a werewolf. Alright. Crest of Cyrodiil. Cyrodiil's Crest. This item set has been redesigned and its old effect has been removed to the Ward of Cyrodiil item set. So the old set was weapon damage, max health, healing taken. When you deal melee damage, you apply minor defile to the enemy for 5 seconds, reducing their healing received by 30%. This effect can occur once every 5 seconds. So you could have minor defile all the time. The new set, stamina recovery, max health, after successfully blocking heal for 8,000 health. This effect can occur every 5 seconds. It's a pretty big heal. I mean, even cut in half, that's a pretty big heal. Alright. Defending Warrior. Fix an issue where this item set could sometimes heal you based on damage dealt from other abilities happening at the same time. Domi House. Updated the telegraph visuals displayed to enemy players. Durok's Bane. Decreased the duration of the major defile debuff to 4 seconds from 10 seconds. So Durok's Bane's also getting debuffed. Elfbane. Fixed an issue where this item set was not increasing the duration of the damage over time from the Grothar item set. Okay. Hargraven's Garden. Updated the telegraph visuals displayed to enemy players. Hatchling Shell. This item set has been redesigned. The old one was physical resistance, spell resistance, healing taken, gain a damage shield that absorbs 5,000 damage every 15 seconds. So garbage. The new one is physical resistance, spell resistance, max health, gain a damage shield equal to 20% of your max health for 15 seconds every 15 seconds. What? Okay. Okay. Well, I might be able to do something with that. 20% of your max health. Okay. Okay. Well, that could be really interesting. You could be sacrificing quite a bit to run something like that, but you can make for some pretty beefy damage shields for yourself. So, and yeah, for 15 seconds every 15 seconds. So it's pretty cool. Well, it's better. I mean, if you wanted a damage shield set, this is better, in my opinion. Haidamori House. Fix an issue where the damage from this item set could critically strike. Alright. Jorvolt's Guidance. Fix an issue where this item set was not increasing the duration of the minor expedition buff granted by Hasty Prayer ability. Alright. Light of Cyrodiil. The 5-piece bonus is gained an additional effect. So Cyrodiil's Light. The old one, while you're casting or channeling an ability, your damage taken is reduced by 15%. Okay. The new one is that plus when you are interrupted, Your next magicka ability will cost no magicka. Oh. Okay. Okay. That's interesting. Specifically interesting for Magic Templar builds. You know, Dark Flare, Radiant builds. Because they're already hard to play. But you can potentially... That's really interesting. No cost of magic for your next skill if you're interrupted. So you always get good damage reduction. This is already an interesting set. The 2, 3, and 4 is good. This is already an interesting set, and that's a cool little buff. Robes of the Hist, alter the 5-piece bonus from this item set. Old, reduce the duration of disabling effects applied to you by 20%. While you're affected by a disabling effect, heal for 2,000 health every second. New, while you're affected by a disabling effect, immobilization, or snare, you heal for 2,500 health every second. Oh, now that's nice. So the problem with this set is it wasn't enough disabling effects that were applied to you that this would heal off of. But now it's all of them. And they reduced the snares, so it's not going to be like a 10-second snare healing you nonstop. It'll be like a 4-second snare. That's interesting. That's going to be tough to deal with, I think. Very, very interesting set. Slowed Semblance. Remove the first damage over time tick. Okay. Damage over time effect now begins dealing damage 1 second after it's been applied. Okay. Decrease the total damage by approximately 15% due to the removed tick. Okay. Fix an issue where the damage over time from this item set was removing invisibility. Okay. Fix an issue where the damage over time could proc itself. Yep, nothing OP about that at all. Alright. Swamp Raider. The old set, when you deal damage with a magic ability, your poison and disease damage abilities gain an additional 450 weapon damage for 10 seconds. Kind of a cool little set. New, 5-piece, adds 400 weapon damage to your poison and disease damage abilities. Okay. Tremor Scale. Decrease the duration of the snare to 3 seconds from 4 seconds. Excellent. And you could reduce this even more if you wanted to. Because it procs all the time. Like there's no need. Like you could have a 1 second snare. No, hell, even no snare would be fantastic. Word of Cyrodiil. Old one, stamina recovery, mounted speed, max health, increase the amount of damage you block by 8%. The new one, weapon damage, stamina recovery, cool. When you deal melee damage, you apply a major defile. Damage for 4 seconds, reducing their healing received and health recovery. So this is the new Cyrodiil's Crest. So it's Ward of Cyrodiil. So those of you that like it, we'll have to switch over. Witchman's Armor. Fix an issue where the resource restore from this item set would not work if the ultimate ability you cast did not hit the target. Alright, Zahn. Decrease the range required to break the fiery tether to 8 meters from 10 meters. Okay, that's a good change. Item traits. Infused Weapon. Fix an issue where the cooldown reduction was applying to both your weapon enchantments if you were dual wielding. Alright. Players who queue for Cyrodiil while grouped will now independently enter Cyrodiil on their own individual queue timers. This means the group that queues for Cyrodiil can have members in Cyrodiil and other zones as their group transitions into the campaign. Okay. Delve bosses in Cyrodiil now spawn like other delves in Tamriel. Okay. Update the alchemy satchels acquired from conquest boards from the Imperial City Telvar purchases to include new alchemy materials introduced in Somerset. Cool. Battlegrounds. Healing medals and team deathmatch now contribute more scoring value towards the end-game scoreboard as well as weekly leaderboards. You can no longer cast Undo to get into starter locations. Okay. Itemization. Fix an issue where a few items in Cyrodiil would be considered stolen when picked up. In the lawless land of Cyrodiil, this is prosperous, and thus items are now no longer considered stolen. Wow, I could not read there. My bad. Keeps now have 2 levels per resource material instead of 5. Resources now have 1 level for defensive upgrades and 1 level for production upgrades. Resources will now go from 0 to 1 in about 10 minutes. A keep will now gain its levels slower from a level 0 resource, but much faster from a level 1 resource. Prior upgrades were spread out across 5 levels and have been compressed into 2 levels for keeps and 1 level for resources, but the overall strength of each upgrade at maximum level remains the same. Keeps once again have degrade turned back on. However, if the degrade rate is much faster, a keep can lose a resource level in about 5 minutes instead of an hour. I am not reading that. I'm sorry. I will post the patch notes. I have to keep moving. Siege masters of Vivek and Shore have learned from their counterparts in South Sil, and all siege weapons will be more effective against players in champion-enabled campaigns. Siege damage over the years has tailed off in terms of raw output when comparing CP versus no CP campaigns. Siege and non-CP campaigns deals damage more closely resembles the original design and intent of siege weaponry. Changes we're doing to siege damage and champion or enabled campaigns result in closer parity between CP and non-CP siege damage. That's a good change. Siege is kind of booty at the moment. Oh, cat saying hi again. Oh boy. No need for that. All right. Yeah. This is my life. Walking to and from, wanting pets, and then yelling at me if I don't pick him up, and then yelling when I pick him up. So, combat and gameplay. Justice system. Many citizens who were previously unsuspecting. Okay. Mementos, monster abilities, crafting economy, outfit, writs, assistance. Okay, dungeons, crypto hearts, blah, 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 blah. And that's it. So, in general, I think these changes are all pretty good. I like them quite a bit. I think Slodes needs to be adjusted a little bit more. Not having a proc on itself is nice, but come on, guys. Oblivion damage. Nobody wants Oblivion damage. Yeah. As far as this channel goes, I will keep posting PvP content when PvP is playable. I'm going to keep taking my break until, I can see people and I can actually fight them. But with that being said, I am posting a couple of videos, VMA related. I've had a few questions on my VMA videos from a few months ago. Some of it's outdated because new stuff is coming into effect. That will be coming out this week, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching, guys. If you have any questions or comments, please provide in the section below. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Say goodbye, buddy. You gonna say goodbye? No? Okay. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye.